What is going on, YouTube? Single digits with a news update and predictions video. So, BlizzCon is returning live and in person this year, November 3rd and 4th in Anaheim, California. BlizzCon is it was their yearly event and convention where, they get all of the community together from all of their IPs. They have tournaments, they have reveals and announcements, um, swag and gifts and souvenirs to give away. It's a giant party, and there's usually a big concert. I was lucky to go one time with a bunch of my friends, and it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. Um, I went and they announced Overwatch, which is actually kind of ironic given this year. We'll get to it. Um, but yeah, that was a huge announcement, and everybody was going crazy. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Um, oh, and then there was the World of Warcraft expansion for Warlords of Draenor, if I remember correctly, I believe. But anyhow, that being said, I just wanted to make a quick video about what my predictions are for the announcements of this year's BlizzCon. So let's get right into it. Um, this will be the first BlizzCon since 2019. Obviously due to the pandemic and COVID, they canceled. And also just the costs of doing a BlizzCon are quite substantial. So I think there was a lot of factors in why they went virtual for a couple of years, and then why they just flat out canceled um, last year and I think the year before or something like that. But this is going to be the first in-person BlizzCon since 2019, 4 years. So that's pretty exciting if you're a big fan. Now that's bringing me to my next point, which I don't have here though. Blizzard as a company has been through the ringer, and expectations are low. Satisfaction is low, morale is low. The fan base and player base is not thrilled. Blizzard used to be the golden child with many people shilling for them and standing for them, and I used to be one of them. But I think those days are long since gone. Between all the controversy that Blizzard has gone through with sexual harassment, allegations, and like a negative workplace, and just a toxic environment and mistreatment of employees and pay structures and everything. The old guard of Blizzard left, and then the ship just went down. And I don't know if this was necessarily stuff that was going on when the old guard was in charge, but that's not what this video is about. So basically, Blizzard's in a really, really bad place. So they need to generate as much hype and as much positivity as they can. So, obviously, first and foremost, this is a profit generating event with, like I said, through hype and excitement from new IPs, new games, new announcements, all of that stuff, with a very small secondary with bringing the community together. I don't know why I have through in there, but let's get rid of that. Um, so yeah, this year I think if they're smart, Blizzard will bring a lot of focus on the community, and they will try as much as possible to hide profit generating, you know, marketing techniques and things like that. Sometimes they're not as subtle, but this year I think they're going to be very, very careful with making sure the focus is on the community and not on their profit margins. But who knows? They are Blizzard. And they've been constantly messing up, so that could be very wrong. All right, so here's my predictions now. Predictions of the major announcements and reveals, okay? So we're going to get a new IP announcement, the survival game, with a potential title and a small chance for a teaser trailer or animated graphic logo for the game. Following this reveal will be a panel featuring lead game developer team, concept art, lore, themes, gameplay mechanics. This is highly likely to happen as this will generate the largest amount of hype for Blizzard. And Blizzard, like I said, needs that hype. Blizzard needs all the positive and constructive and copium that they can get to salvage their reputation. So that would be, I mean, if I was in charge, this would be the biggest thing for me to release for the company. Moving on, we will see for World of Warcraft. I'm splitting this up into their games, their current IPs that are supported. But yeah, so World of Warcraft retail version will have an expansion announcement and patch 10.3, potentially one or both of those. Retail WoW will be well into patch 10.2 during this time. And with the general 2-year cycle of expansions, this will put the expansion release at late 2024. This is a perfect time for this. This will likely happen and generate a lot of hype for Blizzard, especially being their largest and most successful current IP. This will be a move to retain players, retain the community, and hopefully drawing in return players to come back to WoW. So I think this is highly likely to occur. So we'll see. But hopefully we get some news on World of Warcraft retail. World of Warcraft Classic servers, Cataclysm announcement. I don't know. Relatively low chance for me. A higher chance potentially is a Season of Mastery 2. So we'll see on that. They did already announce that they're going to be doing classic hardcore servers, but that's going to be releasing sometime late summer. So this one is kind of up in the air. I imagine there'll be some news surrounding classic servers, so we'll see. And this is the microscopic copium, I guess. Well, not really, because I don't necessarily need or want it, but it would be cool to have. But a microscopic chance of happening would be them announcing a World of Warcraft console release, either for the retail version of WoW or classic servers. I don't think they'll do both. I think the structure and framework, with how different the games are, I don't think they'll do both at the same time. So I think it'll be one or the other. My bet would be it would be classic server console release. So you'll have to come back to this video in November and see if I was right. But again, I think the console release announcement is a very small, microscopic chance of happening. Let's move on to Diablo 4. So 6th class reveal, Season 2 announcement. So Diablo 4 will release, I'm releasing this video early, but will release on June 6th with Season 1 beginning of their Battle Pass, Season 1 beginning mid-July as an estimate, just because they want to give around a month to have people play through the campaign and the single player before releasing seasons. So with a window of average seasons lasting around 90 days, 3 months, the announcement of Season 2 with a release at the conclusion of Blizzcon is likely with these timeframes. It's going to generate some hype and get people interested and retained for the Diablo IP after the event, which they want. We might see a cinematic reveal trailer for Season 2, depending on if they do that for their seasons. Diablo is very cinematic, so I would see that they would do some kind of trailer reveal for Season 1 and Season 2, and all the seasons, regardless. So this, I think, is highly likely in some form or fashion. The 6th class, who knows, maybe, unless they do it beforehand. But again, with the goal of BlizzCon to be, generating hype and getting people's mind off of the negativity surrounding the company, a 6th class reveal at BlizzCon, I think, would help that go along. So we may see a 6th class reveal. Diablo Immortal, their mobile game, there's going to be some kind of announcement, probably minor, but I don't care, so who Who cares? I'm not playing it. That was a whole thing. I'm not even going to talk about it. Hearthstone expansion reveal with the release upon the conclusion of BlizzCon. So they're going to release the expansion, or they're going to announce the expansion, and then it'll be released after BlizzCon. This is highly likely also because Hearthstone expansions have always come 3 within a year, with the releases being spring, summer, and fall. If we follow the current trend for 2022, March was their announcement, April was their release, June was their announcement, August was their release, and then November was their announcement, and December was their release. So as long as this summer's expansion, follows the same track, the final and third expansion lines up perfectly for BlizzCon, generating some hype and retainment of players and potentially attracting new players back in the fold. Obviously, some of these things might have demos, so I would see maybe a Hearthstone demo potentially, and just, PlayStation's not like the console, but like areas where you can play these games in stations all over the floor. That's something that's very common, and they generally do. Warcraft Arclight Rumble, which is their mobile game, pending the release prior to this BlizzCon, we're going to get a release date announcement, and also them announcing that they're adding iOS, Apple playability, because currently it's only on Android from beta testing right now. This is highly likely to happen. It's a new IP, and again, this is pending a prior announcement of release to BlizzCon. So unless this game comes out before BlizzCon, they're going to announce the release date at BlizzCon. This is going to generate a lot of hype, maybe as Blizzard tries to break into the mobile market. Diablo Immortal notwithstanding, and we're not going to talk about them. So this potentially has some big news around it. Controversial Overwatch 2 news, and this is all going to depend on the coming months after the news recently of PvE mode being abandoned and scrapped. The community reaction will determine the level of involvement of Overwatch 2 at BlizzCon. It's obviously going to be there in some capacity, but depending on the backlash and how the community's reaction is over the next coming months, I think will determine how heavily they focus on Overwatch 2 in BlizzCon. That being said, we'll probably get a new hero or heroes announced, maps, and some game modes. That would be my prediction for there. But again, we will see. And then last but not least, this is my copium prediction of StarCraft 3. So I don't know if you guys know what copium is, but it's just like it's the smallest hope and chance that something good will happen. This will be good. This is what we want. But yeah, StarCraft 3. With StarCraft 2 released in 2010, it's been 13 years. So a potential for another StarCraft is ripe, but Blizzard almost entirely abandoning the RTS market. This is highly unlikely, though we can hope. But most of the StarCraft team and RTS team for Blizzard left and went on to Dreamhaven Studios to create Frost Giant and like other stuff. So the original StarCraft team isn't even there. And like these other games, when the original team leaves, it usually spells disaster for their IP. WoW just brought back Chris Metzen, which can either be a good thing or a bad thing depending on involvement, but they brought Chris Metzen back, the OG creative designer and the story and lore person. So I think they're bringing him back. That's actually, I'll put that in here too with the expansion announcement. They might have brought him back to help with this expansion. So that could be the case. That who knows. But and Jeff Kaplan leaving Overwatch, and now Overwatch is in the state that it's in. Overwatch 2, man, you should see some of the backlash going on with Overwatch 2. I mean, And rightfully so. They announced it, they promised it, they marketed it as this, it's Overwatch 2 because it has this whole game mode. Otherwise, we don't need a 2 on there. It's just Overwatch 1.5 or Overwatch 1 patch or whatever. Just add new heroes. But they made this whole new game, um, and they put it on the back of PvE mode, which is now gone and not being developed. So, yeah, we'll see. But that's my predictions for BlizzCon 2023. Um, what do you guys think? And do you think I'm off base? Do you think, do you agree? What are you looking forward to? Let me know down in the comments. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. And in November, remember to come back and check this out to see if I was right. Until next time, this is Single Digits. Peace out, guys.